Sir, shall we start? It's 11:40, sir.
Okay, madam, we can start. The students will come and join. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
I feel highly elated to welcome all of you for the second session. We have an eminent person, Dr. M. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor, Nehru Institute of Information Technology and Management, Coimbatore, to deliver his session on the topic Negotiation Skills for Business. A warm welcome to you, sir, on behalf of NCAAS.
Thank you, ma'am.
I may now invite Mr. K. Surendranath, Senior Instructor, AME and AMT, Nehru College of Aeronautics and Applied Sciences, Coimbatore, to engrave the profile of our resource person. I welcome you, sir.
Good morning to one and all present here. It is my pleasure to introduce profile of today's guest speaker, Dr. M. Satish Kumar, MBA, PhD, Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, Nehru Institute of Information Technology and Management, Tirumalayampalayam, Coimbatore. Dr. Satish Kumar is having a total of 18 years of experience, in which 7 years of it is in industrial experience and 11 years of teaching experience. Sir has received his PhD in management in the year 2019 from Bharatiyar University. Sir has about 10 international journal papers published and 10 international and national conferences presented. He is also having 10 workshop and faculty development programs attended. Sir is an outbound trainer and acted as resource person for various colleges in and around Tamil Nadu. Sir is also passionate towards research and personality development. Thank you. Over to MOC team.
Thank you, sir, for your nice introduction. So now I request Dr. M. Satish Kumar, Associate Professor, to proceed, sir. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, madam. Very good morning to everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on negotiation for business. And before that, I'd like to thank our management, Nehru Group of Institutions, for giving this wonderful opportunity. And a special thanks to Dr. P.R. Balaji sir, Dean and Director, and Professor Singar Vadivelu sir, Head of the Department, Nehru College of Aeronautics and Applied Sciences, for giving this wonderful opportunity to share my thoughts to the new stakeholders and the future leaders, these students. And with this short note, let me start with my presentation. Is it audible to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible to everyone?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir.
Visible, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Visible.
Yes, sir.
Again, good morning to everyone. Let me start with negotiation. See, this particular word negotiation, this world, we live in is a big negotiation table, we call it as. So whether you like it or not, we all are a participant in this negotiation table. And today, let us focus on a purpose of negotiation, and we will be understanding what is the meaning and the concept of negotiation and the negotiation style, which is very important to know. and as well as negotiation process, how to go about it, and the situational negotiation. I'll give you a few examples of the current scenarios. And finally, I'll be ending up with the tips to become a better negotiator. Yes. See here, we are negotiating every day in our life. Like, we are in the situation where we are with family and even, neighbors, employees, and, we are with bosses. Sometimes, in business, as a consumers, and as a salesman, and as a lawyers, and the whole nation. Okay, everybody are towards the negotiation. And why it is mentioned as yes is that, in everybody was in the dilemma of getting yes as the answer from other parties without entering into the conflict or war. Because whenever when two people are there, they will be focusing on the their own point of view. So here, if you want to gain a competitive edge on the negotiation, that means you want an individual want the answer as yes. So any kind of situation, you can imagine that you want the person to say yes to your thinking or your thoughts or your words. So as I told, everywhere the negotiation is happening. Relationship, yes. See, that is the ultimate thing. Why? Because why people are going for a negotiation is to create a healthy relationship. See, whenever you are attempting to reconcile differences or managing conflicts or resolve disputes or any kind of adjustment relationships, you are definitely playing a negotiation games. Sure, negotiation, when we say it is really a lifeblood of relationships, which helps to build the one and maintain the. See, there are relationships where existing is there, and there are relationships where we have to create as a new one. So here, in order to create that, you have to see to that the negotiation process is done effectively to create the relationship. Next comes your influence. See, every human relationship is about one person influencing other person, isn't it? Every day, we argue to try to see others' point of view, and trying to getting the yes is really a skill which brings the success. Because if you take any leaders in our country and in the world, they are the real influencer. So that is why they have become the leaders. So in order to create an influence, you need to have a good negotiation ability to influence the people. Now, with that short notes, let us understand what is the exact meaning of negotiation. See, it is as a definition, it is a discussion among individuals, each one trying to present his best idea to come to an conclusion which benefiting all. See, here you can see in any negotiation, there will be two persons at least. So they will be having their own thoughts and their own goal to be achieved. And they will come forward to see to that they are getting the benefit out of the negotiation process. So with this, now let us get into the few concepts of negotiation, because those are the things which we will be focusing in the next thing. The main focus on this problem-solving concept. See here, the problem-solving is it's a problem which is a critical one. And when it comes to problem solving, for example, if you want to have often people fight over ancillary issues rather than the real problem. See, when the ancillary issues are resolved, so that the primary problem can also be resolved. Because here, in order to have a problem solving, you need to understand that there is two concepts which is called as wants and needs. Okay, there is some needs or some wants. In order to gain the problem solving, what you have to do is you have to separate the wants and give more priority on needs. That is the ultimate solution you can give for any kind of problem. Now let us understand the problem solving with the help of a small tale called Orange Tale. See here, in a house, there are two sisters who are fighting for an orange, and both were into an arguments where their mother arrives tired from the work and overwhelmed by this situation. She takes the fruits and cut into the middle and gives one half to each daughter, and one of them eats the section on and throws the skin away, and while other one throws the sections away and uses the skin to bake a cake. So here the mother thinks that she has solved the argument in a reasonable way, assuming that both of them wanted the orange for the same purpose. But instead, it could have given both of them the double. How is it? How you have to understand? See, actually, mother focused her attention in equity of decisive process more than in the efficient satisfaction of peculiar need of each daughters. Here, actually, the exact need and wants are not analyzed, because one daughter wants the external part of the orange, the other daughter wants the internal part of the orange. The external part is to bake the cake, and the internal part is to for drinking juice. So here, since mother has come with some conclusion or some solution, but actually the effective solution not been given, and this is because they have not identified the exact problem. So only with the negotiation you can identify the exact problem, and you can give or you can provide the best solution for it. And next one is persuasion. Here, it's aimed to, changing the attitude or behavior towards individual. It's about convincing, maybe seller to buyer or friend to friend, or any kind of situation arises. They will be seeing that the convincing things is happening. See here, you can see in the bottom of that presentation, A, B. A is one party and B is another party. And initially, they will be in a distance, and they will try to bring the closeness in order to have a proper agreement. And here, what happens is, it happens because of the persuasion, how you are persuading the others, so that you can bring the two parties together to close the deal. Here, you have to know how to persuade persuade each other. There are three techniques where you can persuade each other. Is that first, you have to know the data. Data means when you have strong data, that means about, for example, if a market condition is there, if you know exactly what is the potential of the market and what is any information about the market, you can strongly tell that this is the data where you can go and attain, or you can get more business out of that market. So that becomes the data. And next one is competition. See, whenever you are weak competition, that means, for example, if you take Maggi noodles. See, Maggi noodles, earlier there was no much competition, and whatever the influence happening through Maggi, people will start buying it. And as well as Johnson & Johnson, they are one of one time it was monopoly, where there is no much of competition. Here it is easy to persuade because there is no much of competition. But when competition arises, and negotiation will be very tough. And the third technique for persuasion is urgency. See, when a person is in urgency, okay, urgently in need of certain products or services, there they have to, you can easily sell it for the premium price. If not, they will be negotiating for reducing the price. So this is the three technique: data, competition, and urgency, where you can easily persuade in another person's mind. So that is very important in negotiation. And next one is compromising. This is very much important in negotiation, because any kind of agreement comes with the conflict. So conflict arises when two people come together. So here the compromise means there should be some give and take policy, because ultimate aim of the negotiation should be a win-win situation. Let us see a small example to make you understand what is compromise. See here, two students, okay, or two boys who are, they come together to play some games, and one person says that let us play cricket, and the other person says that let us play football. Now, if they are into argument where one person wants to play cricket and the other person wants to football, and what happens is in certain cases the conflict arises and it will be ending up with big fight. So if that has to be avoided, what we can do is we can go with a compromise. Compromise, what kind of compromise that we can give if in this particular situation is that, see, one person can say that today let us play cricket and tomorrow let us play football. So here both of them, their goal is satisfied. Okay, one person wants to play the cricket and the other person wants to play football. So you have to come to a compromise kind of thing so that you can avoid the conflicts arises. So each this kind of because every person wants whatever they say, they think that it is right. Okay, nobody will accept that I am wrong. So this is where you have to try to bring a compromise situations in order to get the negotiation process a fruitful thing. Next is inaction. See, inaction means it is sometimes you have to stay back without doing anything, because if you don't like the person, okay, you need not go with the or if the environment is not supporting you, you have to stay back and see to that what is happening. Then you can get into the conversation as well. And this is very important negotiation style. See, negotiators have a tendency to negotiate from one of the 5 styles. That means any kind of negotiation takes place, there will be one kind of approach where from this five kind of styles, and let us understand each type or each style so that you can link with your present situations and any examples that you want to take. Now let us understand what is compete. Compete means it is a situation where it is I win, you lose situation. Okay, it is an approach of I win, you lose. Now let us understand with an example where it implies or applicable. See, in any games, okay, any games, what happens? Let us take for example cricket. Cricket is the game where you cannot have a draw. Draw means you can have a draw, but still somebody has to win. So, for example, India and Pakistan is playing. It is not only the team will Indian team will say that I want to win. It is the whole country want to win, and the Pakistan want to be lost the game. So here you cannot have accommodate kind of things or collaborate kind of things or avoid kind of things. It is real competition place, and here I want to win and you want to lose. If you want to win, the other person have to lose. That means what? See, every person, they tend to pursue their own needs. They will have their own needs and they want to focus. That is, it is a narrowly focused on their short-term goals. And if you take an example of business situations, see, if you have a house, if you want to sell your house or a car to a strangers, what you will do, you will try to sell it for more amount, okay, more price. And same thing, what happens if you are selling to your friends or your any friends or family members, then the situation is different. There you cannot play the competing role. So it depends upon the situation and role. You will decide which kind of approach we want to get into, and that is what the compete. I win, you lose. And now let us see the accommodate. Accommodate means I lose, you win. Now, which kind of situations where we think that you want to lose and I want to lose and you want to win? See, it is exactly opposite to the competing. Here comes the relationship, because if you want to create a relationship or if you want to build a relationship, you have to see to that whether even if you lose, you are creating a relationship here. And that is one condition. And another condition is that, see, if you are in a weak position, for example, in your business, your product or your service is in a weak position, sometimes, your best option is to concede gracefully and ask the other person to win the situations. So that is what we call as I lose, you win. And then comes to your avoid. See, avoid, it is both the sides, they lose. I lose and you lose. That means, if you don't like, where the situation happens is, if you don't like the people, what you will do, you will just come out. Okay, whether we are losing or not, you will be avoiding the situations and you will come out. That is one condition. And in another condition, for example, if it is a war kind of situation, and both the parties, both the people who are getting into the war situations, both will be losing them. And there it says that it is a lose, I lose and you lose situations. And next one is compromise. Compromise is already we have seen in that concept of negotiation process. Compromise is something which I lose and win some, and you lose and win some. So let us take the same example of cricket and football. Okay, though you want to, though X person wants to play cricket today, and the other person tomorrow the football. Here you are losing something and you are gaining something. That means today you are playing cricket and losing the football, and tomorrow you are playing the football, losing the cricket. So here some kind of compromise happens so that it is a little bit better in order to have a conflict situations. And finally, the concept called collaborate. Collaborate means I win, you win situation. See, any kind of negotiation process, they focus on win-win situation, because that is the ultimate aim of any negotiation process. Both the sides have their needs and goals that we know already. But here, we can take an example and we will understand what is I win, you win situation. Say, for example, an X person wants to buy a car. So the seller will price the car as 5 lakhs, for example. And buyer is ready to pay only 4.8 lakhs. Now, the seller can't come down, they cannot reduce the price because the exact seller price is 5 lakhs. But buyer cannot offer to buy for 5 lakhs because he exactly don't have another 20,000 to pay. Now, how to come with a win-win situation? See, what can this seller can do is that for that 20,000, he can give some extra service can be provided, or any extra items which can be useful for the car, they can provide, so that the buyer will be ready to pay 5 lakhs and because you are getting extra service for 20,000, so the buyer also will be ready, and the seller also is happy with 5 lakhs. So this is how you have to come to some kind of win-win situation, and this is what everywhere it is expecting, even nation to nation. If they go for the negotiation, they are seeing to that both the countries want to have a win-win situation. So this is the negotiation style is all about, and at given situation, any one approaches we use for creating a good relationship. And is another connected with that. See, if you are keen on result, okay, if your focus is on result, like we want to win, that becomes your win-lose approach. That is what we call as a distributive style. And if you want a result and as well as the relationship, then you have to go for win-win approach. It is what we call as integrative and collaborative approach. So if you want only the relationship, you have to give up something. That becomes your lose-win approach. Now let us see the negotiation process. It is very important to have a strategy in place, and in order to be successful, we need to understand the process of negotiation clearly. And when it comes to negotiation process, there are 4 phases that you have to enter into. One is preparation. Second thing is there should be an opening phase, then to bargaining phase, that is the core area. Then finally we have to closer phase. Okay. See, when it comes to negotiation process, it is not only for the business. It is for any kind of relations that takes place, any kind of things you want to do. You have to go with this kind of negotiation process. Okay. But it happens without even without our knowledge also. But still, if you are planning properly, and if you are going with the process of negotiation, definitely you can win in the negotiation process. And now let us see one by one what to be carried out in each phase, so that you will be understanding clearly. Yes, preparation. Preparation is what it's very important, because if you want to get a better results, you need to understand the concept first. So there are few factors which we need to consider in order to have a proper preparation phase. And first of all, you have to gather information. See, gathering information is something, in negotiation process, information is a power. More information you have, the more power you will have. Okay. And then why we are talking about position is that, if you want to get into the negotiation process, you need to have a strong position. Only then you can win that situations. Okay, so that comes from getting the information from various sources. That means you are creating a knowledge of that particular activity. Okay, so next one is, after gathering information, you need to understand the leverage evaluation. Okay, leverage evaluation means leverage is the power that one side of the negotiation has to influence the other side, and to move close to their negotiation position. Okay, that means let us take a concept called BATNA. BATNA means it is a best alternative to negotiated agreement. See, that means what, when you're going for a negotiation, for example. So here you cannot have only one goal and go. Or if you want to achieve that goal, you need to have more options, so that when something happens, you can take another kind of options, and you can put it across, so that your leverage will be more. So that means if you have a strong BATNA, okay, for example, if you are selling a house, if for example, if there are more buyers for that house, that means you have more BATNA. You have a strong BATNA. And if you are for example, if you are buying house, and when the sellers are more, again the buyers will have a strong BATNA. Okay, BATNA means best alternative to negotiated agreement. Okay, so you will be checking that what kind of leverage we have in order to position ourselves, a strong position ourselves in order to getting into the negotiation process. And the more attractive your partner is, your more negotiating power you have. That is the meaning of that. And next comes to your, after creating that leverage evaluation, you have to understand the people involved. Here, people used to say that, experts used to say, it is not at the party, it is the partner we should call it as. Because as I told, there are two peoples who are involved in the negotiation process. You should not consider that as a party. You should consider as a partner. Okay. Here, you need to understand both the parties' view, and what you have to do is, in order to have sometimes you have to get into the hard negotiations. So in that case, what you have to do is, you have to separate the person from the issue. Okay, you need, because when you are when you are focusing on person, there will the conflict which will arise. So in order to avoid that, you have to separate the person from the issue. So you can give more hard negotiation towards the issue rather the persons. So in order to understand, in order to separate the person from issues, you need to understand the people involved in that discussions. Okay. So after understanding the people, you have to build a rapport. Build a rapport means, let us see how to build a rapport, because that is very important. Even in marketing, people used to say that you create a relationship with your customers for 80% of your time, and the rest of 20% of the time you can pitch your product, and you can sell your product without any hassle, because you are selling your product not because of your quality of the product and all, because everywhere you get the quality products and services. But how you can sell the product is by creating a rapport, by creating a relationship with the customers. Now, let us see how to build rapport. Okay. See, you have to use a non-verbal communication in order to building a rapport. Okay. Now, how to create that? Let us see now. See, facial expression. See, it shows, we used to call it as, faces in the index of mind. By seeing the expression of the opposite person, you can easily identify whether he can be a good person or not, whether the relationship can be built or not. So whenever you are going for a discussion, or whenever you are going for a negotiation, you see to that your facial expressions are in a good tact. And next comes to your non-verbal factor is that you have to have a tone of voice. See, most of the time, users of the voice can help you become a better negotiators, because 80% of the time you have to use the accommodating time. Accommodating time means your relationship building time. So your voice should be according to that, because you cannot use here assertive voice, because assertive voice you can be utilized for counterattack. But when you are creating a relationship, you have to see to that, or if you want to create a rapport, you have to see to that you are accommodating the other person and giving time for them to create that relationship. And next comes to your keeping your arms uncrossed. That means you have to be very open for any kind of discussion. Only then you can get the things and you can give the things. And next comes to your occasional nod off or nod to assure your attention. That means you should not, when you're in the process of negotiation, you should not standing still, just like that, standing still and focusing on them. You have to show some gesture by nodding your head to create that attention. And another thing is, another important thing is maintaining your eye contact. See, your eye contact should be maintained properly so that they will think that the other person, the counter person, will be thinking that you are focusing or you are very much interested towards the building the rapport. And smiling, of course. You have to smile in order to create that kind of relationship. So these are all the non-verbal communication where you can utilize to build the rapport. So apart from that non-verbal communication, what you can do is, see, you have to maintain the face-to-face in a better way. Because when you meet in person, when you meet in a person, you have to see that face-to-face interaction should be in a better way, and because that is the only options where by seeing the face you can go for the next process. And common interest. Common interest means, you have to understand, you have to research the other person's background by talking to them, and the more you know about your counterpart before you're meeting them, and the more likely you are to find the common bridge. Okay, common bridge means a common to the A, that is if it is a to B, that kind of thing, a common bridge you need to identify. And you have to have a thoughtful gesture, like remembering the birthdays of the counter person, and you can discuss with the favorite sports team, or you can get into details of family life and children, all these, which is not exactly related to the exact goal of what you want to achieve, but still it will create a rapport in you. So that is how you can create the rapport. And next process after creating or building a rapport is to know your objectives. Here you have to be very clear on your objective, because the more you can have a clarity in your goals, the more likely it is you will get them. So when you're determining the goal, you have to be very clear. Not only your goal, you need to understand the opponent's goal also. Why? Because only then you can understand the common ground and find a win-win outcomes. So it is very much necessary that that is why we used to call it, whenever you want to know your objective, you have to be very smart. Smart means it should be a specific one. It should the goal should be a measurable one, and it should be attainable, and it should be relevant, and it should be a time goal. That is a smart goal. Okay. Then after you're clearing the objective, you have to go with the type of negotiation. What type of negotiation you're entering into? See, when it comes to type of negotiation, there are two kinds. One is distributive negotiation. Another one is integrative negotiation. See, distributive negotiation is like you're focusing on your personal interest. For example, if there are seller and buyer, now a seller will be ready to sell his product for 5,000, and buyer will have a range of till 8,000 he can buy. That is what his disposable income he has. Now there should be a negotiation between the range of 5,000 to 8,000. That is what the reservation point you have for the negotiation process. So here it is only the seller will be talking about seller's point of view, and the buyer will be talking about the buyer's point of view. So that is what we call as distributive negotiation. And then comes to your integrative negotiation. That means it is a mutual understanding or mutual interest. You are coming to a common ground, and you are trying to create a win-win situation. See, for example, if you're entering into the salary negotiation in your workplace, there what the company will do is, instead of increasing the salary, they may give you the extra bonus, incentive bonus. So here the owner also will be happy, and the employees also will be happy, because ultimately he will be getting the a payment. Okay, that is what the integrative negotiation is all about. And then finally, in preparation, you have to go with the plan. Plan means what will work out and what you are prepared to give up, and some kind of homework that you have to do, and decide on what techniques that you use in order to get into the next stage. This is the process of preparation. Then let us have a small exercise, and I will just you can read the exercise, and based on that you have to tell me that what kind of options that you will go. Okay. The exercise one is, you walk into a room about to start a difficult negotiation, and what's the best thing to do when you see your counterparts? So the options are given, A, B, C. Now, which options that you will select? Students, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can any one or two can tell me what options you will go for?
Some is upon the giving of mindset.
Option A.
Any other
Option A,
answers?
sir.
Okay. Any other answers?
The option is
So I will go with option A. Okay. Now I'll just tell you. See,
Option A.
option A. Okay. Okay. You can mute your mic. I'll just tell you. See, if you want to have a better negotiation process, you want to go with option B. Why? Because, say, instead of identifying and starting with areas of disagreements, it can create a positive psychological momentum if you start with a small thing you agree on. See, the moment you are entering into the negotiation hall, see, what you have to do is you have to say that this is a nice room, don't you think? That means you are creating a small gesture of positive notions where that will create a better opportunity for creating a good negotiation process. So you have to go with the option B. That is the ultimate thing which you can do instead of going for A option and C option. Now let us see let us get into the open phase. See, here again, you are entering into the open phase. That means there are few things that you have to, the factors are there which you have to go about. First one is you have to create first impression, because you get only one chance to make a first impression. And how you, the way you look and the body language that you use, and that is the way you can create a first impression. Because as I told, the relationship building is very much important, and that happens even through the first impression also. So in terms of business, the shaking hand firmly can create a good impression. But now in this pandemic situation, you cannot do, but still I'm telling you, that is the way how you create the first impression, so that you can go with the next process of building rapport. Building rapport means, it is again, we have already seen, it is to get to know each other, and you have to go with the relationship building, because as I told, 80% of time you have to create a relationship, and 20% you can go with your exact goal to achieve. So here, in order to build a rapport, what you can do is you can allow time to introduce, because you have to know each other, so that you can allow time to introduce each other. And always you have to give room for a comfortable, because the conducive atmosphere that you have to create, only then you can have a more interactive when it comes to your negotiation. That is why most of the business is happening in restaurants and the coffee shops. Okay, that means that kind of atmosphere you are giving for negotiation process. And next one is, after building rapport, you are getting into the check authority. See, this is very important, because you are spending a lot of time in negotiation process, and you have to know who is the ultimate person who decides. So what happens in practical situation is that See, you will be talking too much and you will be negotiating and for the long time. But after all the completion of the negotiation process, then the other person will say that, yes, I will get back to you after discussing with my boss. So that means the decision authority is not with that particular person. You have wasted time unnecessarily. So always you have to check the authority who is exact person you are talking to, so that you can the time that you spend will be useful for you. Okay. And next, after checking authority, you have to get into the basis of meeting. That means you have to focus on the final agreements, because several meetings are expected for the final agreements that you want to go. And then comes your ground rules. See, ground rules means how to operate in meeting room, because you are getting into the processes and you are in the open phase where you have to create an that is atmosphere where you have to know how to operate in a meeting room and the timing for the discussions, and even somebody needed to be taken notes of it. It has to be recorded even, because sometimes it will be helpful for your further process of negotiation. Negotiation, as I told, it is not happening for one time. Okay, several because for example, if it is $1 million or crores of money is involved in that goal for the negotiation process, you have to have a several meeting for getting the process, getting that particular deal. Okay, then after that ground rules, you have to get into know their outcome. Their outcome means you have to understand the other person's questions on the table. Okay, before you because before you put your question into process, you need to understand their their question. Why? Because when other persons tell about what is their outcome, you can find that whether it is a favorable or not. If it is not favorable, what you can go do is you can revise your outcome and then you can get into the process again. So that is why you have to know their expected outcome, and then you have to go with your outcome. Okay, that means we call it as anchoring effect. So when you know exactly the price, for example, price of any product or any kind of services, once you know their outcome, you can have a clear anchoring effect. Even they also expect the same. And always, in business, the seller should be the first to tell you, first to inform the outcomes. So this is how you can create the open phase so that you can come to a good negotiation process. Then another exercise for you, again, you can just read and answer it. See here, two people have been negotiating, and you have noticed that one has been doing more of talking and one has been much more quiet. And who is most likely to achieve their goal? Students, now you can answer which option you are going to select if you are in that position. Are you there? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Option C.
B, sir.
Yes, sir.
B. Any other answers?
Option B, sir.
Exactly. The answer should be option B. Why? Because see, although in movies you can see, because most of the portray of negotiations, you can mute your mic, please. See, although the movies, they portray negotiation as a talkers. Okay, even if you see the any kind of negotiation happenings, people only will be talking in the movie, but actual positions is not like that. If you want to influence, or if you want to have a persuades, it's more likely that good negotiations move beyond pushing their own positive to working out what the other party really wants to say. So sometimes, you have to identify, the people will like only the listeners than the more talkers. So that will create a more, win-win situation, which will happen when we are getting into the negotiation process. So that is one. And now next, let us enter into the bargaining phase. See, this is, as I told, it is a core stage. Keep concentrating. This is a core stage where the parties, they get together in crafting and agreements. And what you have to go across is that, first of all, you have to explore the position. Because there are two positions. One is the A party, another one is B party. Their position you need to explore. That means, in your case, if your position is like what to achieve and what is your desire and what kind of fears that you have to close the deal. So you have to be clear with your position, and as well as you have to understand the other position also. Okay, so that you can have a clear understanding of their positions. And why? Because there is a important point is there in this, because there is a concept called overlapping. Overlapping means, here you can see in this picture, there is a party A and party B, and party A will have their own interest, and party B will be having their own interest. Now, when you're going with exploring the position, you will be identified the overlap interest between party A and party B. Okay, it is like Venn diagram. You can find the center portions where that is the common ground you can easily identify. So what is the ultimate aim of this is, see, any kind of negotiation happens, that initial point, what you're going to talk to them. So if you are able to identify the common ground, you can start from the common ground and you can get into the next level. That is what overlap is all about. Then you went, after identifying that common ground or exploring the positions, you have to get into the, you have to make the progress. Progress you can make when, it starts with the common ground, and you can deal, if you understand the common ground, you can easily deal with the sticky points. Okay, because here you should not get discouraged. You keep on asking questions in order to identify their need and the real desire here. Okay, that means you know the overlapping, that is common ground. Then with that you can identify or deal with the sticky points, and then you ask more questions in order to identify the need and real desire. Then after that, you have to, when you receive an offer, what you have to do is, you have to identify whether the results are good or too good, and ask him that how does it sounds, and it is a time to make a counter offer, because only you know that the offer, that is the other person is okay with that, you can make a counter offer. Counter offer means you will be trying to close the deal. That means if you accept, then we will accept, or if we accept or commit, how would we accept or commit? So that kind of things you can come to process. Then after making the counter offers, you are getting into the concessions. Concessions means what kind of discount there you are giving to the other persons. Okay, discounts means if it is a product, you can give discounts or any kind of concessions that you can give. That is what in compromise we are used to say, that you have to give something and you have to get something. So that concession, you have to be very clear, and you have to be ready for offers and counter offers, and only make a concessions when you can. You have to see to that the concession should be equally distributed. Okay, the concession when you can get equal value to you in return, that you have to see. That is what we call it as a win-win situations. So here, this part you have to be very clear when you are making concessions. And then finally, getting stuck. See, what happens is some situations where you will be getting stuck in the bargaining phase. So what you have to do is, you should not get demotivated first. So what you have to do is you have to take a deep breath, keep focusing on your main goal, and make more offers. That is why I was talking about BATNA. You need to have more options of whenever you are facing this kind of situation, getting stuck, you can use other options so that you can ask more questions also, because so that you can learn more about others. That is a partner, what I'm talking about. And based on that, if you're stay confident and respect, you can easily progress and get the things into the next level. So this is what the bargaining phase is all about. And next one is, before getting into the closure phase, one more exercise we can go with. Here the question is, you have had an initial meeting and now it's time for one party to name a price. Should you be one to make the first offer? What you will do? Students, it's your turn. You will select first option or second option or third option.
C, sir.
C. Any other answers?
B, sir.
B. C is the correct one, because it depends on your knowledge of the market. Why? Because the anchoring effect is a psychological bias, okay, where any information, even a random numbers, can influence what happens next. So in negotiation, there is often an advantage to being the first to name a price. Okay, but this only works if you have enough knowledge of the market to make an offer which is in the zone of the reality. Okay, you need to understand the knowledge, then only you can go with the negotiation. That will be a better options when compared to other two options. Okay, so with this exercise we will get into the closure phase. Here it is very important, because people always often fear at this stage, because already we were seeing that every party wants to get the answer yes, but here there will be a fear that if they say no, what happens? But the secret of closure phase, or the secret of negotiation, is that ask for close doesn't damage the rapport you built for the relationship. We may think that if if you ask the deal, it may damage the rapport. It is not like that. It will create a relationship. That you need to understand. That is the secret of negotiation. Now, what you have to do is, in closure phase, is that you have to summarize whatever till happened, the negotiation progress happened, that you have to summarize, and you have to check the agreements. That means what the concession you have given in that negotiation process, and then you have to ask what more. That means if anything is left out, you can ask what more you can add. Then you are getting into the trial close. That means both the party need to be happy, because that is the ultimate deal or ultimate aim of any negotiation, and you have to ask, are you people are happy? Then finally you have to make the offer and formalize it. That is confirm the offer, and you have to formalize it. Formalize it means you have to make as a documentation, because offer and acceptance is the agreement. Okay, and you have to make a documentation. And in informal gesture, what you can do is, you can, like informal meeting, you can shake your hands, or any kind of gesture you can give to finalize your deal. So that is what the closure phase, what you have to do. And in some conditional cases are there, if we were to offer, would you be able to agree? Okay, that means your conditional agreement is happening here, or what it is to need to make a final agreement. So that means when you're closing, you're putting some condition on that. And another term is, we are near to agreement. I can agree if some conditions. Okay, so that also will happen. It depends upon the what we are discussing in. So very important is that in closure phase, do nothing else about the process. You don't discuss about the process. just follow it, because in the end time on signing the agreement, you will be facing a trouble of canceling the whole agreement. So don't, you don't say anything else or nothing else about the process, just follow it. And few example we can see when it comes to your negotiation in workplace. Normally in a workplace, you will be going with the salary negotiations. There, what you have to do is few tips which I will give based on this. You have to overcome your fear, because many people will think that when you even begin a salary negotiation itself will not happen, or be may afraid of you are angering the boss or not, or be think that as we are doing good job, we will be automatically get a raise in your payment. So if you don't ask for salary, the bosses may believe you are satisfied with whatever you are getting. So you should be overcoming your fear, and if whatever you want, you can just tell them. And next one is get the facts. Facts means before you enter into the negotiation, do some background research. What other company paying to the people in your positions, and you go with some checking sites like payscale.com or salaryexpert.com, like that. And then you can go for build your case. Build your case means you have to prove that how important are you to the organization, and how have you contributed to the organization, and you can make a list of your contributions. Then you can go with know what you want. So here you have to set a target goal based on some research, and you ask yourself, if you don't get this figure, would you like to quit, or you want to continue, or if there is any alternative solution is there. And then next is begin assertive. Assertive means you have to start the discussion on a strong but in a friendly tone. So assertive means you have to openly talk. Okay. Then comes to your don't make the first offer. Let the boss name the figure. You don't get into that process. And if boss insists that you name the figure, ask for the most that you can reasonably expected to get. See, normally people used to say that if salary is between the range of 40K to 50K, then you can always go with the higher end, so that even if it is a negotiation process, it may come down. It will be on an average of 50K. So that is how you can make. And finally, you have to listen more than you talk. Okay, negotiation is not about only talking; it is about listening also. So this is a few tips which I want to give. And the family negotiation, again, you have to understand, because the workplace is different, the home situation is different. Okay, in workplace or in a business, it is the long-term relationship is not required. But when it comes to negotiation at home, it is really a long-term relationship. You have to see to that. Here, you cannot use the word the competitive, because you have to avoid the competitive, that is winner, win-lose. You cannot have it, because it is something win-win situation you have to bring, and you cannot show your hard-nosed when you are discussing with your spouse or with your parents or with your children, like that. You have to see to that that long-term relation should not break. And you have to listen, understand, and be present, because you have to listen to the people. You have to understand the problem exactly, because if you don't understand the orange tail, the same thing which will happen, you won't get the exact the whole fruit. So you have to understand the problem, and then you have to empathize and be present. Be present means, see here there is a situation where the people will be discussing with texting. Okay, that kind of thing should not be there in a home relationship. You have to be present and discuss with the people, and you have to dig deep for the true interest involved. That means it is something, what happened conversation. We should not always go with who's right. who is to be blamed. Okay, it should not be that kind of things, because here the emotional content is there. You have to see to that also. And when it comes to identifying the feelings and emotional involved, you have to see how many of your most difficult situation we are really about anger, disappointment, or some other feelings or emotions are involved in it. So you have to see that you have to identify those feelings and emotions, and finally you have to find and use objective standards. That means a great way to lower the emotional level in many negotiations is to find an objective standard that can lead to a mutually acceptable solution. You have to find that mutually acceptable solutions. So that is how you can manage the family negotiations. And this is, I'll just complete in 5 minutes. See, this is again electronic negotiator. Why we are discussing here is in our increasingly wired world, more and more negotiations are taking place through email rather than a phone or in a person. So a few tips what you can take is that here, in order to impress the people or in order to influence the people, you can mastering your language and writing skill in your mail, and you have to read before you send, because a few attachment will not be there. You will just send saying that attachment is attached. So that kind of things you have to do. You have to read before you send and make it look good. Attractiveness should be there, and you have to manage the anxiety. That means that is, as I told, without attachment or subject, because of your anxiety you might be sending. That also you have to look into, and your words that you use, it should create or manage the relationship. In that way you have to do it. So that is how you can do for electronic negotiations. And finally, this is the final thing, tips to become better negotiator. I think most of the things which we have discussed in the previous slides, but still for your summarize, I just want to tell you. See, you have to be prepared enough, the preparation process, you have to be prepared in order to be a better negotiator, and set your goals, that SMART goals you have to set, and you have to see to that it is attainable. And considering alternatives, BATNA, I think you might be remembering, you have to have more options for the discussion purpose. And don't sell yourself short. Short means you should not think that you are inferior to others. You have to go with you should not always sell yourself short. Okay, be confident in speaking to the people, to your partners, and take your time. Okay, don't rush to the discussions. Take your time, analyze the situation, and go with the negotiations. And communication, exactly, communication is the key. The word that you use and the way you communicate, whether it's a body language or the way you speak, you have to be very clear, and always listen carefully. And finally, and the ultimate aim of any negotiation, you have to seek win-win situations. That is the ultimate goal of any kind of negotiations. And with this, I want to conclude my presentation. If you have any doubts or clarifications, it is open to the discussions.
Students, are there any queries?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
No, if you don't have any doubt, that means it is everything you understood or everything you did not understand.
Sir, let us think in the positive. Everything is understood.
That is what the expectations were.
So shall we conclude, sir?
Yeah. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for giving this opportunity. And I would like to say all the best for the students, because this is the new normal where you are getting, you came to this, your studies, and I wish all the best for your future endeavors. And thanks for your patient listening. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Negotiation is something that everyone does almost every day. So these are important skills in every sphere of life, especially in business. The ability to negotiate effectively is highly appreciated in today's competitive market. So we need to improve the skill to get what we actually want. So thank you, sir. We'll definitely improve that skill. And thank you for the informative session.
Thank you.
Now, I invite Mr. R. Singaravadivelu, Professor at Department of Aero Sciences, Nehru College of Aeronautics and Applied Sciences for the felicitation. Sir, I welcome you, sir.
Oh, thank you, madam. Okay. Sir, respected Dr. Satish Kumar, first of all, our sincere thanks for your kind acceptation, our invitation, and given a very good session on negotiation for business. And moreover, negotiation for their studies, negotiation for the general, all you have given very well, sir. It's a very good opportunity. Student here, and everyone will be absorbing, and it will be helpful for them for their negotiation in their life and in studies and for their in future. And in you have covered the basic concepts and small exercises. You have given 3 exercises. Very good. All the students, they have understood very well and they have replied nicely. And you have given different places. The negotiation process, you have given very good explanations. You have given, and with finally you have given the family negotiations and negotiation for the workplace, negotiation for the family one, and negotiation, and finally you have given the tips for becoming a very good successful negotiator. Very good, sir. It will be much useful for all the students, and everyone will be following that. Thank you very much for your kind, nice session, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Satish Kumar, thank you very much for your nice session.
Thank you, sir. For the opportunity, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, students. For all, everyone might have taken the notes, and it will be much useful for you, all, everyone and all. Thank you. Thank you, the organizing team.
Thank you, sir.
Madam, Avisha, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.